Danny, a 34-14 win over Sheffield Eagles. How did you find that game overall?
Yeah, it was a tricky game really. I know it's a cliche, but a game of two halves. I thought we were really scratchy in the first half. I think last week's defeat probably affected us a little bit mentally. Obviously, it's something that we've not sort of experienced for a while, and we looked a little bit jittery in that first half. And Sheffield, I think, were full of energy off the back of their win last week, and we just had to show a lot of character in that second half, and I thought we got back down to what we've been about. Worked really hard, carried the ball tough, and just defended off the back of that. And that ultimately led to a really good second half performance and keeping them to 0, which were obviously quite impressive.
And you mentioned that second half there. Paulie and John Thompson obviously controlled that middle very well. What were your overall thoughts on their performance?
Yeah, I mean, Tomo's been brilliant all year. I mean, to play in the middle to the sort of standard he does for 80 minutes every week, it's kind of inhuman, really. Some of the stuff and the work that he gets through, and obviously Paul is a huge impact for us. We've kind of missed him over the last few weeks, and it just takes energy out of teams because of the size and the athleticism of him. And it definitely showed when he was on the field. People getting off the back of him, and I thought Marcus Stock were really good off the bench as well as Ronan Dixon. They really took us forward in that second half, and ultimately that was probably the reason we got on top. I thought we carried the ball a lot harder in the second half.
You mentioned in that first half kind of the Eagles caused a bit of damage in that last 10 minutes like we've seen before against Halifax. Do you think that's kind of an issue that's trying to be solved, is like towards the end of halves?
Not really. I think it's a culmination of different things. Obviously, against Halifax, we had the sort of 10-minute period. Today, again, if you don't look after the ball, you kind of lack a little bit of energy, and that's the same for both teams. I think if you keep hold of it and finish in good positions with your kicks and your kick chase, then it leads to a bit more energy in the team, and that's what you saw in the second half. I don't think it's a case that we're really struggling at the back end of halves. Obviously, we've sort of won a couple of games at the back end of them in terms of the Barrow away game, Workington as well. So fitness is not really an issue, but I think it's more sometimes a bit of concentration thing.
You've now got a 3-day rest, London on Sunday. What kind of challenge do you think that's going to present itself?
Same as last time we played them, really. They're a team that works really hard. They've got a real mix of experience and youthful enthusiasm in there. A lot of players from the London area, so obviously a lot of pride in the shirt, and it's always difficult when you play them. Obviously it's a little bit different for sort of part-time players coming off the back of a 3-day turnaround, but it's one that we're relishing. We've got a great squad, a lot of players that are sort of chomping at the bit to get some game time, and we probably might see a couple of different faces in that team, but whoever steps in, I'm sure they'll step in and do a good job.
It's halfway through the championship season now. We're third. What are your overall thoughts on being third at this stage of the season?
I think it's good. I think we're probably performing to the standard that we kind of expected. We want to sort of be chasing and be up there with Featherstone and Lee, and that's where we're sitting at the moment. There's things that we could probably do better, but we do feel like we've got improvement in us still. I feel we've set off really well, and if you're probably judging where we are at the halfway point, you should be quite happy with that, I feel. But the promising and the exciting thing is that we have probably got another gear in there.